Thank you, Patrick. Frederick. I'm Patrick.
It's okay. My German colleagues call me Frederick, so.
Oh, at least I tried.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that brings us pretty much to the end of today. I just got a few summary notes, highlights that I've made note of that I want to share with you. Thanks to all the speakers, of course. So we heard about the critical needs for the metals now and the transition from fossils to a metal economy. We heard about mining in the EU and Sweden, how there's changes in the permits. Things are looking more optimistic for the future and for making the ease of getting a mine to development, which benefits you whether you're a miner or a supplier. And we heard how designing from scratch to accommodate the innovation is much more optimal than an optional bolt-on. It allows you to focus on the utilization. So part of that is increasing the customer profits from a supplier's point of view. In terms of haulage, the payload, we could have fuel savings for the ton of ore, or we could just take the equipment out of use and save overall once we reach our production targets. Also interesting and nice to hear the consideration of the customer for the value to optimize and work towards the targets or goals for the value calculator for the customer, that becoming standardized so that they have some certainty from project to project. Lessons learned, and it was nice to hear people focusing on the importance of learning from the bad experiences. They're just as worthwhile to talk about as the good experiences, as hard as that might be. And also a management system for making it easy to make the right decisions and hard to make the wrong decisions, so that the culture, the framework is there to empower people. Again, putting people at the center, first and foremost, is important. We heard that through many of the talks today. And focus on the power supply to not max out the supply. So know your process, maybe shut down elements so that you're husbanding the amount of power needed. We talked about the client value, but there's also the employee value proposition, which is important for how to manage change. Even positive change can be painful to implement. Mixed reality sounded pretty exciting, and they had a very valid use case for it underground, of everyone having it on their phone, able to query what system they're at or see with the augmented reality. And the culture as well. We heard that a lot, the culture for alliances, information spreading for cross-project and cross-industry. Again, the importance of testing the whole system to do better in order to assess the performance when it's installed, rather than assuming that the elements will work as you've seen. And very interesting to hear how to scale from a pilot to an industrial scale. It's certainly a big jump. And the fossil-free value chain, trying to be strategized since the end of 2022 and moving ahead. But as we heard through the progress, it's still a challenge for the complexity. And even with will, it takes time and persistence. But it's a big impact to the business, but also the country or the region that it's in as a whole. Talking of which, we heard about the total cost of ownership for certain things. We can hear a 50% service interval extension, which is key, I know, for us as contractors to get better utilization out of our equipment. Not having to put it in for service is very important. And again, the flip side for sustainability is the emissions reduction. And the safety aspect of optimizing equipment is not just about optimizing the equipment and for its own safety, but not to have a loss of process as well. We heard about systems and subsystems just now, and the safe way to prototype electrification. And again, the uncertainty of technology and the big leaps that we're trying to make. We really are at the forefront of some of these things in our industry. And changing, from combustion engines to electrical drivetrains. And again, when we talked about the subsystems for all the elements, it was important to hear the people elements and the considerations of the human and machine interface. And finally, what I found kind of interesting, and I hear a lot in my day-to-day, is standards. Everyone wants a standard, but then they want their own standard. They want the template, but it's got to be theirs. So that's kind of interesting. It just comes down to the change management. So in summary, thanks again to the speakers. Thanks to the attendees. Thanks to the AV crew and technical crew at the back there and the Euromine personnel, and also for having us here, able to do these talks. And there's more talks here tomorrow morning at, I believe it's 10 o'clock that it starts. So thank you.